Tonight only on Fox, it's part 2 of our story on the evolution of wrestling. Presbyterian, the first college in the country to start a Division I women's wrestling program.
Women's wrestling is the fastest growing sport in the country. Sports director Cheslock here with us, and it's creating unique opportunities for these young women.
Yeah, we met a bunch of them in part 1 of the story that aired at 5. Lillian Humphreys from Taylor's is one of them, the many wrestlers on the Blue Hose team. And like her coach, she had to battle it out primarily with boys on the mat in high school. Now, this group is looking to spark change and help those following in their footsteps to have an easier path through their journey.
There were several times I had guys that came out there like, oh, this is gonna be nothing, I'm gonna beat this girl, and then I have videos of it where I then pin them, and then they like sit up and they're like, what just happened? And it's like, you can't underestimate me just because I'm a girl.
After a tough first year, Lillian Humphreys found her footing as a high school wrestler, going up against boys primarily, but now she's a member of the Blue Hose, the first ever Division I women's wrestling program. A year and a half of preparation, now the debut in a 3-team tournament. Presbyterian against Life University in Limestone, both those schools in lower divisions. And the story for most of these wrestlers, so similar. Years of being singled out as the girl on the team.
We're creating a community in the state of South Carolina to show that women's wrestling's here. It's in our communities, it's in our high schools, it's in our little youth clubs.
We're kind of spearheading that charge with this being the first Division I women's program. So we've talked to them about how important this whole movement is here on campus with the program being started, and that they're basically, they're the foundation of what's to come, where hopefully it kickstarts other programs to do the same thing.
National Wrestling Hall of Famer Mark Cody took the job overseeing the sport in Clinton. The startup of this women's program sparked his interest in the gig.
We're on the forefront of something very special. There are a lot of programs that are trying to start women's Division I wrestling, and to be the first to do that, that's very special for us here. People that have never seen wrestling, or people that have particularly never seen women's wrestling, they're going to be in for a treat just because it's very exciting. It's not going to be boring, I can promise you that.
It's monumental. It's paving the way for girls wrestling everywhere, and it's setting the way for high schoolers that don't think that they're ever going to be able to go do something more, that there is going to be something that's like way bigger, like D1 out there for them.
The sport's exploding, thanks in part to a trail blazed by women wrestling against sexist perceptions, grappling with self-doubt to persevere by pinning opponents, both physically and mentally.
When I started, I didn't even know girls could wrestle. I didn't know that was an option. And I know a lot of other girls who don't know it's an option. So I want them to hear my story and then realize that, oh, they can do it. Parents who have young daughters, I hope that they listen to my story and they realize that it's okay to let their daughter wrestle.
To see her self-confidence just start to really fly once she started wrestling, and realizing that she was doing something that she never thought she could. And I think the door is, I almost want to say it's being kicked wide open. I mean, girls are realizing that just because they are a girl doesn't mean they have to stay away from a male-dominated sport.
Humphreys hopes enough girls start wrestling young that it forces high school athletic leagues to change. So when they grow up, women's wrestling's sanctioned on the prep level, and they won't have to wrestle the boys.
Now you see girls at every tournament, and now people are exposed to it, and I think they're more accepting of it now. I mean, I think it still has a long way to go, but it's definitely come a long way since when I started.
Now, Belton's got a pair of female phenoms on the mat as well. 9-year-old Carly and 8-year-old Kylie. The Langley sisters already tout a ton of trophies on the mat. They didn't know what was going on at Presbyterian, so we told them they can one day become Division I women's wrestlers while staying close to home in the upstate.
There's mostly girls wrestling there.
All girls?
All girls.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
All girls just like you.
That's cool. A few years ago, there was not a lot of girls that wrestle. And now there is a lot of girls that wrestle, which is pretty cool. That a lot of girls could know that wrestling is a sport for girls and boys.
Carly's got a message for the women whose footsteps she looks to follow.
How cool is it making up something that's never been made up before? And thanks for making it, because some boys could back down girls from wrestling. I think they're tougher because they deal with boys that are some that are stronger than them, taller than them.
We leave at 12.
Humphreys didn't back down, but it's been a long road. One she hopes gets shorter for the Langley sisters.
Well, then maybe you need to be.
Relaxing's short-lived. When you're a wrestler, another match awaits.
You get one.
And Lillian's proud dad doesn't wrestle with the idea of his little girl on the mat anymore.
Yeah, she can take care of herself pretty good.
Now, we reached out to the South Carolina High School League to check on the prospect of a female wrestling division getting sanctioned at the prep level in the Palmetto State. They say, quote, currently we do not have a separate division of girls wrestling in the SCHSL. Female wrestlers compete with the boys teams. This year we implemented a new rule that allows for female wrestlers to compete representing their schools up to 3 times without it counting as a date used by the boys teams. This was done in an effort to grow the female side of the sport. It's our goal that we can offer a girls' invitational at the SCHSL State Individual Championships in the next few years as the numbers of female participants continues to grow. Now, Humphrey says she still dreams of a national championship or getting to the Olympics, but whenever she ends up calling it a career, she wants to coach, help lead the next generation of young women like the Langleys, who continue to travel the country and are starting to get serious national buzz. If you'd like to learn more on how to support them, you can head to our website right now at foxcarolina.com.